Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Prepping and Survival. Today I've got a guest, Laura Mays. Some of you may have seen where she's commenting on some other videos. I finally got her out here to. So she's going to bring up some topics, and we're just going to sit here and talk about stuff she's got on her mind. She's made herself some notes, so let's see what she does. Hey!
Hey. Water and food. We spoke about that earlier.
Water and food. What
Yes.
about it?
How much water per person
Um,
per day?
It really depends on the person. Now, there's a lot of the sites out there to tell you need 3 gallons of potable water per person per day. But that really depends on the environment as far as the weather that you're in. So what I mean by that is if it's 100 degrees outside and you're doing outdoor work, you need a lot of water intake to replace what your body's losing. But if you're not doing that kind of stuff, I don't consume that much now. So why would I need to then unless this situation change?
Gotcha.
So basically for me, 2 gallons is plenty. That's the way I base it off of. 3 gallons on certain situations. If I'm outside working in the garden in the middle of the heat and all that, I'm going to need more water.
Sweltering summer?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So where we live, it gets hot.
It really does. Too hot. How do you make potable water?
Well, there's several different ways. You can actually make your own. Take a bucket and layer sand and small gravel, medium gravel, large gravel, and pour dirty water in through and let it filter all the way through that stuff, and it'll come out the bottom clean. So you can make a natural filter. The easiest thing to do now, since things are still available and plentiful, I keep a lot of those Sawyer mini water filters, straws around. It's kind of like a life straw, but it handles a lot more volume, and it's washable versus a life straw gets 1,000 gallons, you use it and throw it away. Mini Sawyer will handle up to 100,000 gallons. Of course, that determines on how dirty the water is going into it versus how long the life is going to be. But you can get about, they say 100,000 gallons out of it. So I keep that in my get home bag. I keep several extra here. I've got a filter system I showed you earlier told you about earlier that's set up here on my property, so all my water's already filtered. If it wasn't for being here to filter it, I'd probably go with that mini Sawyer. Just for the simple fact that you can take dirty water and filter it through that and comes out where you can drink it. It's safe to drink. You can get it from a creek, from a mud puddle, whatever. You can get it out of a toilet if you want to. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter where the water comes from if it's filtered properly.
Now, for those that don't know what a Sawyer?
Mini Sawyer.
Mini Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know
it's
what
a mini Sawyer water filter. They run about $18 to $20 a piece off of Amazon or at Walmart. You can find them in a lot of different places. Some places will charge more than that for them. I don't particularly, which we were talking about this earlier, I don't like to shop at Walmart. We all have to. And there are some things that I buy while I'm in there. We were talking about shampoo earlier, and that's one place that I can get the shampoo that I use. And I bought the largest container they had, every one of them on the shelf when I was in there. I love the shelf. Yes. Why? Because I've only been in there once in the last year and a half. So when I go, I'm going to get enough to last me a while.
Right.
Same thing with the mini Sawyer. Keep a few extra. I keep one in my get home bag. I keep one in a go bag here. If I need to go get my kids or my grandkids, I've got a bag packed and ready for me to go. It has a purpose. And they may need things that I won't need, but it's in that bag.
Just be prepared.
Yep. All right. So that was water, right?
Water.
What else did I not cover? Food. An active adult needs about 2,000 calories a day. You're going to need more than that if you're out there working, again, planting a garden, tending to animals, doing things that you're not doing on a normal everyday basis.
High energy usage.
So you're going to need more caloric intake when you're exhausting what you have. Now most of us go to the store and buy what we need, so you're not spending all that energy to gain the energy you're consuming. Therefore, that's why we're fat, right? We're not doing enough. But 2,000 calories per person per day should be enough to survive. My goal is not to survive, but thrive.
Right.
I want to live, and we talked about this too. I want to live as normal after crap has hit the fan as I can to the way I'm doing before crap hits the fan. And that's a long road to get there.
Yes, it is. I noticed that with all the canned vegetables.
Can you see the timer? Because I can't see it from this far away.
5 minutes and 25 seconds.
Okay, yeah, they got a good face shot then, didn't they? Sorry, guys.
Uh-huh.
All right, she wasn't happy about being on camera, but she came out to interview me, so I figured this was the best way. All right, what's next on your list?
Well, we were going to talk about seeds, but we could do that.
This probably going to be a 2 or 3 part video.
Probably, yes.
We're not going to fit it all into one. So if you want to talk about seeds.
Okay.
All right, so because you asked about food and water, so 2,000 calories per day. You're just going to have to do the math. What do you eat? I may not like the turnip greens that you like, which I really don't. I don't care for turnips and collards. I will eat cabbage, but I will eat the others if that's what's there for me to eat, but it's not my preference. So I'm going to keep more seeds for the things that I like to eat. The way I work my seed bank is I've got enough seed stored to plant a garden to feed the certain number of people that I want to feed for at least 3 years. So I want 3 years worth of seed stored for the garden for the number of people I've got. Right. And I add a little bit extra to that for each year because you're going to have some that don't come up, that don't produce well. But jumping back to the other side of that, food stores. I want enough food stored in my long-term goal. I know there's a lot of new preppers out there that are just starting. How do I get that much food?
Takes time.
It takes a lot of time. Every time you go shopping, buy 1, 2, 3 cans of vegetables or meats that you're not going to put in your pantry to use. Buy an extra bag of sugar, buy an extra bag of flour, cornmeal, those type things, and put it up away from your normal food so you're not using that.
Out of sight, out of mind.
So the next time you buy some, or when you use it in your pantry, take it from there, go to your pantry. That's what you buy when you go back to the store. So you're rotating that food through.
So it stays fresh.
So your newest stuff always goes to storage, and what's in storage goes to the shelf or pantry in your house to use, and you keep that rotation going. If you store food properly, it will last many, many years past the sell-by date that's on the product.
That's important to know because a lot of people think the date on the product, it's a done deal, and it's not.
Typically, if you can keep the food above 40 to 45 degrees and below 80 to 85 degrees, you're going to get the longest shelf life out of it. If it's a shelf-stable item, you should be able to get as much as 5 to 10 years past shelf life. Yes, it's going to break down as far as its nutritional value and all those things, but so you ideally want to rotate it out sooner, but you need to get to that point to where you're buying this week to replace what you took from your stored pantry to put in your I'm fixing to eat pantry, and you get to that point. So start off with 1 or 2 cans. Start off with a 2-pack of toilet paper or a 4-pack or whatever. Start off small and build up as you go. Okay.
Just make sure you don't dip into it and don't put back in.
If you dip into it, that's what you need to buy the next time you go, so that you're putting it back. And the way I did when I first started is, so if I got 12 cans of whole kernel corn from my storage and brought it in the house, I didn't just buy 12 when I went shopping. I bought 14 or 16. So I'd buy those 12 that I replaced and then a couple of extra and put that in there. So every time I'm shopping, my food storage is getting slightly larger every single time I go shopping. And it may only go up by 1 or 2 cans. But that 1 or 2 cans over a year's time will make a huge difference in the amount of food you have.
Well, financially too, depending on, what people have to work with when they go shopping, they can adjust it.
Yes. It all depends on that. I mean, back when we worked together, I was store manager of a large chain grocery store. I had access to when they marked down those products and got them at a much cheaper price. Of course, the customers did too. We didn't do things just for us. No. But that's what we look for, is look for, okay, I need this, and they're going on sale, or they're in a markdown basket or discontinued or whatever, but I need this product. It may be discontinued because it went from a 14 ounce to a 12 ounce or a 16 to a 14.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the product itself. It's just they're changing the label or the container.
The packaging.
And yeah, and it gets discontinued. So look for those deals. You're going to find them in every single retail store out there.
You got to do the look
Yep.
to find it. But they are there. You will save money on it.
Yep.
You will.
And that's a big part of your job. What you do is marking stuff down, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I also look too. Trying to think.
What were we talking about? Food storage?
Yeah, food storage.
So
what about the way you store your food?
most of my dry food storage I put in a Mylar bag. You can buy the Mylar bags off of Amazon or eBay or whatever. And I put an oxygen absorber in there with that product. I did a video and showed how to do sugar. Sugar doesn't get the oxygen absorber, but other products do. So I put it in that bag, I seal it up with that oxygen absorber, and I take all those bags and I put it in a plastic tote in a climate controlled building. So I fill that tote up, I've labeled on there what's in that tote, and then I'm going to start on another tote. And what did I have? 15 or 20 totes outside?
Yes.
I mean, I've got several thousand pounds of dry stored food, and that stuff stored properly, climate controlled, will last 20, 30 or more years easily.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's an insulated, well insulated building.
Yep.
With the AC unit.
Yep.
Heat.
So we keep the humidity control in there. We keep the temperatures in the area that we want it to be. That food will last a very, very long time.
Good area to start on.
All right, and then canned goods the same way. They'll be good way past their date if you keep them stored
Absolutely.
right. And then a lot of home canned product in glass jars, pints, half pints, quarts. They've even got some half-gallon jars out there. I don't know. Last time I counted, it was 700 or 800 of those. That's nowhere near what I need.
Right.
But some people say, "Oh, you got more than you need." No, that's not a year's worth of food.
No.
In those jars. Now, for me, yes, but for me and my kids and my grandkids, no, it's not enough.
No.
So
that's
that's
what
what
per
I
person
prep
per
for.
pound
Yes.
comes from, to see how much you would need per person.
Yeah.
And that's how much
So
you
we
need
were
to store.
talking about rice earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You can put 8 pounds of rice in one of those gallon-sized bags. Some people use the 5-gallon bucket, and they put the Mylar bag in there and they fill it up. But to me, it's better as far as rotational on food to use a smaller container for the simple fact I don't have to open a 5-gallon bucket every time I need something. So, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways on food storage. Stick with what works with you best. I just bought a vacuum sealer. We talked about that. I haven't even used it yet, but I plan on getting into some vacuum sealing, and then I can take that product and store it in totes in the climate control building, or I can take some of the products and put it in freezers and store it that way. So, always try to expand a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
What's next? We got about 2 minutes, don't we?
It's 13 minutes and 31 seconds.
All right. What's your next thing? Yeah, see, it doesn't take long to go through 15 minutes.
It really doesn't. But wood was one of the things on one of your videos before. I don't know why I thought about it, but wood, because I know you've got the gas.
Wood for what?
Burning for
firewood.
Firewood. Or if you needed to cook, what's the best wood? To gather.
Laura has an advantage here. We walked around my whole property.
Yes,
and
we did.
talked about the things. And one of the things I did not show her is I have a stack of firewood over on the side back here behind where we had the raised beds. I've got a stack of firewood that's probably 30 foot long and chest high or whatever. And I don't even have a fireplace. My sister does, and she lives across the street from me. So that can be used for food to build. We've talked about how we built a stove out of a barrel and be able to cook on there. I've got wood that's been cut for several years.
What's the best
seasoned.
type, though?
Hardwood's always your best burning wood.
Oak.
It burns longer. Oak, pecan, those type things. Hardwood's going to burn longer. You're going to get more heat out of it for the length of burn. You can burn anything. You can burn pine. You can burn cedar. Whatever. crap hits the fan. If you need
You're
to
not
cook,
gonna have choice.
you're not
Yeah,
going to
you're not gonna be choosing.
So if you cut down this, what I call a scrub oak, or just a tree that you don't need on your property, cut it up to firewood, stack it off to the side.
You could use
Leave
it later.
there. It could come in handy.
How long does it take for wood to go from being green to being dried out and usable?
Typically 6 months to a year. You want to season that wood. The better seasoned, which is drying out process, the better it's going to burn with less popping and all of that stuff.
Gotcha. Keep it up, off the ground, on the ground? Doesn't matter how you really store it? Put a tarp over it?
In my case, mine's stacked straight on the ground out there, but it's not something I'm using. That bottom row is going to have more moisture and it's going to rot faster. So yeah, it's going to go bad. You do want to have some kind of rotation to it. I don't use that. I've got 4 chainsaws, several axe, hand saws. So I've got ways to cut more firewood if I need it.
One thing though, with you saying that with your pile of wood, what's rotting on the bottom, you can actually take that and use as compost towards gardening, towards plants.
And that's something that I'm way behind on. I haven't started composting. I need to. But, you know, life moves on. Yeah.
You're at 16 minutes.
It doesn't fight. As long as let's keep it under 30. It'll just take longer to upload.
Gotcha.
We'll try to do it in 2. But yeah, I haven't started composting. I've watched a lot of other guys on TV. I'm going to tell you one of the best ones, and I absolutely love this family. They don't even know I exist. But Cog Hill Family Farm, Jason and Brooke and their daughter Mary Carl, I watch every video they put out. Arms Family Homestead, I watch every single thing they put out. And then you've got a few others. We was talking about like Southern Prepper One. I watch him because he gives us a lot of the quick videos on news and things happening around the world.
Right.
There's quite a few that I follow and I watch, and they're much bigger channels than what I am. But that's what I strive to be, is to be able to keep it family friendly and build to half of what these guys have built. Keeping it Dutch. I don't know if any of y'all noticed, but I'm wearing the shirt that I ordered from him.
Representing.
So I watch every time Keeping It Dutch post anything. I watch it. Arms Family Homestead. Those guys, I don't miss a beat. Now, I follow a lot of other farms or farm channels, homestead channels. I'm not even going to give a call out to all them, but there's a bunch of them out there that do a really good job on different things. And that's what I do. I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube. So.
Gotcha. And now you're on YouTube. He went from composting
to
talking
on
about
YouTube. I'm just sitting here.
So what was that about composting?
So there's another channel. I'm trying to think of the name of it, because I wasn't planning on talking about it. But there's another channel out there that do homesteading and homesteading family. They've got like 10 or 11 kids, and they do animals and gardening, and
they need to with that many children.
She teaches canning and all this stuff. She does it on YouTube. She teaches classes. He's doing all this stuff. I mean, watching him, what he's composting in those piles and the soil he's getting out of it. They are awesome people. Awesome. As you hardly ever see their children, but you see them all the time, and you can learn a lot from watching people like that. I will get to that point at one day, but it's a long ways down the road.
So what are your plans on composting then, though?
Well, when I get, telling her I've got a backhoe. When I get the backhoe fixed, I'll be able to compost the way I want to compost, which is big piles. So I want to be able to take that bucket on my backhoe, and I want to turn that pile when I need to turn it and do all that. I'm not getting out there with a shovel doing it. I'm 54 years old.
Well, there are people that have the turn type.
Well, yes,
composter.
that small scale for small raised beds. It works great for that. But my plan is to plant a garden that's going to feed 50 to 60 people a year.
You definitely need
I can't compost that much in one of those things.
No.
I need to do it like Homesteading Family did with the tractor, a pile the size of my living room just about out there. It's what your goal is. People say start out small. Well, to me, starting out with a small one like that is not a drop on the bucket to what I plan on doing.
Right.
So I'm just not going to waste my time with it.
Gotcha.
for you love planting flowers and all that stuff. It would be great for you because you could make some good quality soil, but for me, it just doesn't work.
No, I actually used an old metal bathtub, you know, with the soil and earthworms because earthworms are great for it, and I need to get back to that. I need to compost myself, not physically.
So what are we at? 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Longest video ever, y'all.
It's long.
Go ahead.
Long. Well, we did potable water. What about the equipment? Because like you were just talking about your backhoe to do the composting with. I'd asked you before what items would be needed for upkeep of the farm equipment, which you showed me some of it.
Yeah, I keep a lot of extra motor oil and gear oil and fuel treatment and things like that stored in my climate control building for the simple fact I don't want something to happen to them in my non-climate control building.
Gotcha.
It's stored separately from food, of course, but I keep enough oil out there to change my vehicle oil, my tractor oil, my backhoe oil, all of that stuff. I keep enough out there to change it several times, just for the simple fact that what if I can't get it?
Right.
If we're living off of what these pieces of equipment are allowing me to do, planting that bigger garden and so on, I need to do what I can to keep that equipment running, because when it don't, you go to what? A hand hoe and a back. Y'all, we're gonna starve to death if that's what it takes. Yeah. I'm just.
What would be, say, your two main pieces of equipment for the homestead?
For the scale that I'm doing it on, I would probably say my old tractor. It's a 1953. That thing will be running when I'm dead and gone. It takes very little maintenance to take care of them and keep it going. And then I've got an actual tiller, you know, with the little engine I walk behind and it tills.
Tillers are awesome.
I've got that. If I had nothing else, I could get by with the tiller because I can till the ground up. I can plant. I can get by with that. The tractor with the big harrow behind it and the bottom plow and all that makes it a lot easier for more larger scale. But if I wasn't planning on feeding 50 or 60 people, just a walk behind tiller's plenty. I mean,
could you use a tiller to aerate the soil?
Yes.
You can. So you can till and aerate. You don't have to dig it all the way up.
So when I was using just a tiller before I got the tractor and all, I'd plant far enough apart I could take that tiller down between the rows and keep that ground turned up to keep weeds from growing.
Gotcha.
So as long as you're doing that and you're maintaining it right, you can keep a fairly nice sized garden and you know, healthy and productive. But when you work 70 hours a week,
right,
things get away from you.
Yeah, they do.
So I haven't planted a garden in a couple of years because I just don't have the time to go out there and do it like I want to. I plan on doing it this next year though.
Me too. Use up some of those seeds. You're at almost 25 minutes.
Okay.
You're at 23. I think we should be good.
Okay. So part 1 is over with?
Part 1.
So we're going to, look, here's the deal, guys. I have to upload this, and it's probably going to take me half a day to upload this. So I may do it tomorrow while I'm at work where I've got better cell service. But either way, we're going to stop this one, see if I've got enough room in my phone camera here.
Better hope so.
If I do, we'll go ahead and record part 2 because uploading an hour-long video is going to kill me. Yeah, see, look at her eyes. She ain't going to want to come back, is she? All right, guys, we appreciate it. Laura Mays, thank you for coming out and kind of getting my gears rolling and talking and all of that stuff. Yeah, she said her brain's in overload.
A lot of information.
But I tend to throw things out there at people that a little more than they can handle. But you know, I've been doing it for 15 plus years. So, but anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Remember the 2 things I always tell you: Jesus loves you, and so do I.